Alright, let's dive into something that's got the college football world buzzing: sleeper teams for the 2026 college football playoff. Now, I know what you're thinking: sleepers? Really? Isn't that just clickbait? But hear me out. What makes this really interesting is that every season, there's always that one team that comes out of nowhere and shakes things up. Indiana winning a national championship. Nobody saw that coming. So, let's talk about 8 teams that could pull off something similar this year, and trust me, some of these names might surprise you. First up, TCU. Personally, I think the Hypnotoad still has some magic left in the tank. Yeah, I know, they had that heartbreaking loss in the CFP title game back in 2023, but Sonny Dykes has a knack for turning quarterbacks into stars. Jaden Craig, the Harvard transfer. That guy was one of the hottest names in the portal. If he clicks with Dykes' air raid offense, TCU could absolutely dominate a weak Big 12. And let's not forget, they get BYU and Utah at home. The real test. That Thanksgiving game at Texas Tech. If you take a step back and think about it, this could be the year TCU reminds everyone why they were once a powerhouse. Now, let's talk about UNLV. Dan Mullen and Jackson Arnold, that's a combo I'm keeping my eye on. Mullen has a history of getting the most out of his quarterbacks, and Arnold? He's got the talent to light up the scoreboard. What many people don't realize is that UNLV's schedule is actually pretty favorable. They get Memphis and North Texas early, and Cal in October. That's a winnable Power 4 game. If the Mountain West is as weak as everyone says, UNLV could be the group of SRX's ticket to the CFP. In my opinion, this is a team that's flying under the radar. Next, South Carolina. Last year was a disaster, no doubt about it. But here's the thing, they've got Lonoris Sellers, a new offensive line coach, and a revamped receiving core. What this really suggests is that the offense could take a massive leap. Defensively, they're solid. The schedule's tough, but if they can pull off a few upsets, like they almost did against Texas A&M last year, they could be in the conversation. One thing that immediately stands out is how much potential this team has. If the SEC gets an extra at-large bid, watch out. Minnesota is another team that's got me intrigued. PJ Fleck has a roster that's as good as the one that went 11-2 in 2019. Drake Lindsay at quarterback? That guy's got NFL potential. The defense is veteran-led, and the schedule, while challenging, isn't impossible. The key games: Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, and Penn State. Win those, and the Gophers could be more than just a bowl team. From my perspective, this is a program that's due for a breakout. Now, Louisville, this is a team that's been knocking on the CFP door for years. Jeff Brom has consistently won 9 games, but they always seem to stumble. This year, though, the schedule is kind. No Miami or Clemson. That's huge. Isaac Brown and Kewan Brown in the backfield? That's one of the best duos in the country. The question is Lincoln Kienholz. If he lives up to the hype, Louisville could finally break through. What makes this really interesting is that the ACC is wide open this year. Florida is a team I'm split on. John Sumrall took Tulane to the playoff, so he's got the resume. But Florida's been struggling for years. Still, the hire of Buster Faulkner as OC is a smart move, and Jaden Bohr at running back. That guy's a stud. The schedule's brutal, but if they can beat 2 of Ole Miss, Georgia, or Oklahoma, they could be in the mix. Personally, I think this is a make-or-break year for the Gators. If Sumrall can't turn it around, who can? Cal is the wildcard here. Tosh Lupai as a head coach. That's the big question mark. But his portal strategy is fascinating, bringing in power 4 reserves and group of 6 stars. Jarankiwi Sagapulutil at quarterback could be the X factor. If he takes a step forward, Cal could surprise in the ACC. What many people don't realize is that they don't play Miami, which could be huge. This is a team that could sneak up on everyone. Finally, Oklahoma State. It's crazy to think they haven't won a Big 12 game in 2 years, but Eric Morris and the North Texas imports could change everything. Drew Messmaker, Caleb Hawkins, Wyatt Young, these guys were stars at North Texas. If they can replicate that success, Oklahoma State could be a bowl team at the very least. What this really suggests is that familiarity breeds success. With so many key players and coaches coming from the same program, the transition could be smoother than expected. So, there you have it, 8 teams that could shake up the 2026 CFP race. What makes college football so great is the unpredictability. Indiana proved that anything can happen. Who do you think could be this year's sleeper? Let me know in the comments. And if you take a step back and think about it, isn't that what makes this sport so fascinating? The possibility that any team, on any given Saturday, could rise to the top.